Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we've taken a whole stack of sources, professional photo guides, some really deep cut interviews, and we've distilled what is basically the gold standard of portraiture for you. Our focus is on the philosophy of Annie Leibovitz. Now, everyone knows her for these huge, meticulously staged high art
The
portraits.
Hasselblads, the massive lighting rigs, the whole crew.
Exactly. But we're setting all of that aside today. Our mission is to prove that the soul of a Leibovitz portrait, that core idea, is accessible with just the Pixel or Android phone that's probably in your pocket right now.
Right.
We're cutting through all the gear talk and going straight to connection, light, and story.
And that's really the critical
Yeah.
point, because if you look at her whole career, the technical side changed, dramatically.
Mm.
Her early Rolling Stone stuff was often just grabbing a shot with whatever light was there.
Mm-hmm.
But then her later Vanity Fair work, that involved weeks of prep and these grand theatrical setups.
A huge difference.
But the underlying principles, that quest for trust, the skill in telling a story, that never changed. And that's what we're translating into tips for your phone today.
Okay, let's dive into that. The absolute foundation of any great portrait for her was intimacy.
Yeah.
She famously said, "A thing that you see in my pictures is that I was not afraid to fall in love with these people," which suggests that connection, even a brief one, is way more important than any expensive camera.
It's what we call trust before the lens. We know she'd often spend hours, sometimes even days with her subjects before taking a single serious photo.
Right.
And the goal wasn't just to make them feel comfortable, it was really a practical thing. She wanted them to stop performing their public self.
To drop the mask.
Exactly. To just start existing in the room with her. That's what disarms a celebrity, and just as importantly, it's what reveals the real dignity in an everyday person.
But that idea of spending days with someone, that's a luxury, right? That's for high-end magazine shoots. For someone listening who's just trying to capture a friend or a family member, how do you build that trust in, 60 seconds?
Well, the phone size is a real advantage here. It is genuinely less intimidating.
Okay.
But you have to use that size strategically.
Mm.
You can't rush the relationship, obviously, but you can compress the time it takes to get them to relax.
So how do you do that?
The key moment of trust comes when you successfully distract them from the fact they're about to be photographed.
Which brings us to a really immediate, actionable phone tip. Instead of just raising the phone right away, which kind of puts up a barrier,
Well,
you
yeah.
set it on your lap or on a table, and you just talk. Make the camera invisible for a minute. Then, when the moment feels right, maybe they've just laughed or looked away for a second.
That's when you raise it
What?
quietly and shoot quickly. You're capturing them when they've forgotten the lens is even there.
You're hunting for what you call the expression between expressions.
Precisely. Leibovitz knew the posed smile is usually fake.
Mm-hmm.
The real truth is in the transitional moments, the blink, the exhale, the little relaxation after a big laugh.
Those are the unguarded moments.
They're raw. They
Yeah.
carry so much more truth than any polished pose.
And this is where phone tech gives you a massive advantage. You can actively hunt for these moments with your phone's burst mode.
Mm-hmm.
You just hold down the shutter button. It'll capture a whole sequence, maybe 10, 20 frames a second. And then later, you just scroll through and find that one split second with their guard slipped.
Think about her 70s portrait of Patti Smith. She's not doing a rock star pose. She looks a little awkward. Her shirt's half buttoned. She's not glamorous. She's human.
Right.
That's what you're looking for in that burst of photos. Not the prettiest one, but the most truthful one.
So if intimacy is the foundation, then I guess the building materials are light and the setting.
Yes.
Let's move into that. Light is never just a technical thing for her. It's a character in the story. All you have to do is look at that 1991 Vanity Fair cover of Demi Moore.
Oh, yeah. The pregnant one.
That one, the light was so simple, soft, and it just sculpted her form. It turned what could have been just a picture into this powerful, elegant piece of cultural history.
And the key lesson there is just awareness. Being aware of the difference between natural versus theatrical light. Leibovitz could shoot Bruce Springsteen in flat daylight, or she could light Queen Elizabeth II like a Renaissance painting. For us with the phone, it just comes down to placement.
Okay, so with natural light.
You just have to be thoughtful. Place your subject near a window. If they're facing it, that's front lighting. It's soft, it's even. Side lighting gives you drama. It sculpts their features.
And outdoors, everyone knows the golden hour for that warm, cinematic look.
Right, but don't forget overcast days. An overcast sky is basically a giant free softbox. It gives you this beautiful, even light with no harsh shadows.
And here's where you can take back some control. On your phone, you don't have all the studio gear, but you can control the intensity. You just tap the subject's face on your screen.
And a little slider pops up.
Yep. And you slide your finger up or down to adjust the exposure. You're basically using your phone as a dimmer switch. You get to decide if you want to reveal what's in the shadows or keep it mysterious.
That control over darkness is maybe the most powerful tool you have. Shadows are storytellers. They add depth, mystery, tension. That's the emotional weight of shadow.
So a face that's half in light, half in shadow isn't just a cool effect.
No, it suggests something. Duality, maybe an inner conflict, a secret. You're inviting the viewer to ask a question about that person.
And with a modern phone, that deep contrast, those dark shadows, that's actually a strength. Phone cameras often try to brighten everything up, but if you intentionally keep part of the frame dark, you're instantly adding a layer of drama that makes it look like more than just a snapshot.
Absolutely. Don't fight the dark.
Yeah.
Use it.
hmm
Now let's shift to environments that speak. The setting is the other character in the portrait.
Okay.
Leibovitz often left environments looking lived in. You'll see paint-splattered canvases, messy offices, stacks of records. Those details invite you into the subject's world.
So the environment authenticates the person.
It does.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be a backdrop. The subject has to feel like they belong there, not like they're just pasted on top of it.
So you have a choice between, say, minimalism versus rich detail.
Exactly. Let's say you're photographing a writer at a cluttered desk. That's his creativity amidst chaos. But the same writer in an empty field. That could be about isolation or clarity. The choice of setting is a huge part of the story.
Okay, moving into part 3, orchestrating the scene. When Leibovitz shoots, she's really treating it like stagecraft. She's staging the story.
Yes, absolutely.
Props and settings are symbolic. I'm thinking of that 1996 portrait of Demi Moore again, where she's draped in this huge red satin gown.
Right.
The fabric wasn't just clothing. It was this bold, dramatic participant in the photo. It was like a river of emotion flowing around her.
And that kind of orchestration gets really, really challenging when you add more people. I mean, think about the group portrait.
Oh, the dreaded group photo.
It has to be orchestral, not just a lineup. Her Hollywood covers are famous for being these carefully arranged tableaus. And the key lesson there is balance and connection.
How does she do that?
She uses layers. Some people might be sitting in the front, others standing behind them, maybe someone's leaning on a chair. It choreographs the composition.
So it doesn't look flat.
Exactly. And it suggests connections or a hierarchy between people that you'd never get from just lining them up against a wall.
Okay, so we've got some specific phone techniques for group portraits that can help with that layering, but also manage the weird things a phone camera can do.
Right, the distortion.
First, you're going to want to use your wide lens mode, the 0.6x or 0.5x setting to get everyone in. But here's the trap. Wide lenses on phones can really distort the edges.
They stretch people out. It's like a funhouse mirror.
It is. The solution is to tap to focus on the faces in the middle row. Focusing there helps minimize that distortion across the whole group, and it keeps the sharpness balanced from front to back.
And, just like we said about intimacy, a group portrait shouldn't just be one shot. You need to think bigger. Think about a portrait series.
Right, one picture is just one moment.
A single photo is powerful, for sure. But a series can capture evolution, context, all the different layers of a person's identity.
I think she said something about that.
She did. She said, "I like to work in series because people change. It's like a conversation that continues." A series gives you the freedom to try different lighting, different poses, and it gives the viewer a much more complete picture of who that person is.
Okay, our final act is all about capturing life. Let's start with the candid within the constructed. I mean, how do you make a carefully arranged scene feel spontaneous?
The process is to set the stage, then wait. You encourage small, natural movements. Tell someone to walk across the room or fix their sleeve or just shift how they're standing.
And you just keep shooting?
That's the crucial part, especially in the pauses right after you think you've got the posed shot. Those moments are driven by emotion and gesture.
The little things.
The really subtle cues, a tightened jaw, a thoughtful look, the nervous ways someone might fold their hands. Those things communicate what words can't. Leibovitz is a master at anticipating those little micro-expressions.
You can actually hunt for those gestures with a specific phone technique. Use burst mode while your subject is genuinely doing something familiar, not just pretending.
Like what?
Ask them to read a page from a book out loud or talk to someone else in the room. Capture the natural subconscious shifts in their face when their mind is actually focused on something else.
And don't forget your angles. They're so simple, but so powerful for storytelling.
Shooting slightly from above can create a sense of vulnerability, right?
Yeah, or contemplation. And then a low angle, shooting up, makes the subject seem larger, more powerful, more authoritative.
So once you have the image, the last step is editing for impact. And editing isn't about changing reality, it's about emphasizing the story you already have.
You're using your phone's tools, contrast, color, exposure to strengthen the emotion you managed to capture in the frame.
But I have to ask this because phone editing apps are so powerful now. How do you maintain authenticity? When do you cross the line from just refining the truth to, fabricating a whole new reality?
I think that line is defined by the emotional truth you captured. Your edits, whether you're adjusting color or darkening the corners, they should only draw attention to the truth that's already there.
So you're highlighting, not inventing.
Exactly. If you edit to make someone look 10 years younger, you're inventing. If you edit to make the viewer focus more on the subject's thoughtful expression, you're refining. The goal is always refinement, never invention.
So after this whole deep dive, let's just nail down the three most actionable takeaways for you listening with your phone. 1, prioritize connection over your tech. Always.
2, treat light and your environment as active characters in your story, not just backgrounds.
And 3, hunt for the energy that happens between the poses. That's where the real person is.
And that last point really underlines the big principle here. Seeing beyond status. It didn't matter if Leibovitz was photographing a world leader or an ordinary person. The focus was always on human character and the story.
Right.
That consistency is what gives her portraits and will give your portraits. That real emotional punch, no matter what camera you're using.
So if the goal is authenticity, if it's about capturing those unguarded moments, here's a final provocative thought from the sources. Leibovitz always said not to stop shooting after the main pose is done. You've set the stage, you've got the technical shot, now let them relax. The most authentic photo you take all day might be the one you get right after you say, okay, we're done.
When they let out that breath.
Exactly. What truth about your subject will you find when they think the session is finally over? When their camera face drops and they're just them again? That's the secret space you have to explore.